When I was in elementary school, I met this kid named Timmy. And while most kids in second grade ran fast or knew how to draw, Timmy was different. Timmy was gifted. And so I watched from afar as Timmy soared through math and English and social studies in the blink of an eye. I watched from afar as teachers continually told Timmy that he was destined for greatness. And then I watched from afar as Timmy started to fall apart. Because you see, Timmy wasn't just gifted. He was told that he was gifted every day, in and out. He was told that he was too great, too talented, and had too many achievements to ever possibly fail. But there was one thing in particular, one skill that Timmy hadn't yet learned. And it was perhaps the most important skill of all: how to be human. You see, when gifted kids are separated from the regular classroom and isolated from their peers, they lose the ability to connect with kids outside of their academic bubble. This, in turn, creates isolation. Gifted kids don't know how to develop their social and emotional skills because they don't know how to connect. And as their intelligence and capabilities rise, so too does their emotional depth. As author Leslie Sword puts it, intelligence and capability are strongly positively correlated with emotional depth, especially in gifted children. And Timmy was no such exception. Timmy was extremely emotionally dysfunctional, meaning that he had little to no friends and had trouble making himself a social person. But this problem wasn't just an issue for Timmy. It's the same issue for 3.3 million gifted schoolchildren across the world. Many don't know how to act socially, and some, known as twice exceptional children, have autism, OCD, or ADHD, furthering their conflict. But this problem applies to gifted children as well. Gifted children don't know how to pursue social relationships, and so they don't. As Dr. House puts it, gifted children, as they age, their brains develop a sensory band. And that sensory band in gifted children is about 3 times more developed and much larger than other kids their age. This is important for 2 main reasons. First, the sensory band in gifted children intercepts senses from our daily environments, that being sight, taste, hearing, touch, and smell. In gifted kids, the sensory band is much bigger, and so they take in more and more information. Both positive and negative memories are amplified, and so gifted kids are much more sensitive to their sensory environments. Second, it overwhelms the limbic system. After the sensory information is taken in by the sensory band, it is then sent to the limbic system to be consolidated into memory. But the limbic system is built for a normal-sized brain. In gifted kids, with such a developed sensory band, the limbic system can't take all this, and so it is overwhelmed. And so, more sensitive sensory cells plus an overwhelmed limbic system leads to emotional dysregulation and more intense emotions. But kids, of course, always are emotionally dysregulated. We have all seen that 2-year-old throwing a screaming tantrum on the Target floor, and some of us have even had that 2-year-old. But with gifted kids' cognitive intelligence soaring far beyond a normal average, this combines with their emotional intensity to create a term, that psychologists call asynchronous development. Asynchronous development is when different parts of a gifted kid's body develop at different rates. For example, you could have a 6-year-old kid with a 9-year-old brain crying and screaming because she wants to walk like a 9-year-old, she wants to talk like a 9-year-old, but she can't. You could have a 10-year-old able to solve algebraic problems easily, but still cry and scream when she can't find her favorite shirt in the morning. And you could have Timmy, Amazing and talented Timmy, excelling in all of his subjects in school, but not able to hold a simple conversation. So Timmy develops differently as different parts of his body age. And this is the gifted paradox. As gifted children age, different parts of their body develop at different rates. So while their mind may be light years ahead, like Timmy, their social skills may still be behind. Chronologically, when he got into middle school, Timmy was age 12, but his mind was so far ahead and his social skills so far behind that he didn't know where to stand. And then Timmy, of course, entered middle school with all of the pitfalls that come within, and Timmy saw that he couldn't fit in. He hadn't developed the right social skills during elementary school, and he couldn't relate to those peers around him due to his asynchronous development. And so Timmy decided he had to change himself. To fit in, he had to be different. And so he was. But it wasn't authentic, and it wasn't who he was. And so as Timmy changed himself, he realized that it wasn't authentic. But then Timmy had a new problem. When he went into high school, he started taking the easy way out. He had never struggled on anything else before, so he thought he wouldn't struggle now. But as gifted kids are raised to pursue perfection, when they come across a challenge, they start to struggle. And so Timmy took the easy road out, but soon enough he got his first B, and then his first C, because he wasn't prepared to deal with such challenges. And for Timmy, he was devastated. He couldn't realize that such a gifted capability could fall this far. Because gifted kids are taught from such a young age that perfection is the only thing that matters. And that's the problem. Gifted kids within our society, our gifted education system treats kids as if perfection is the only thing possible. Instead of molding our kids to become leaders in tomorrow's world, we're molding them to become the test takers of today. Whether it be the SAT, the ACT, or any other standardized test, Timmy was poised to get a perfect score, but he wasn't poised to hold a conversation. He wasn't poised to accept a failure, and he wasn't ready to not pursue perfection. So if our goal then isn't to create test-taking robots, then what should it be? Should gifted education, instead of pursuing perfection and creating these robots, should it pursue something else? Well, the answer is a clear and obvious yes. Instead of making our kids run test after test and only teaching them how to succeed in an academic environment, we must teach our kids something else. We must teach our gifted kids how to survive in the real world. Not only surviving, but thriving requires a holistic education plan. So we must teach our kids the power of failure. Failure breeds success, ironically, because failure is one of the starting steps. When gifted kids fail, they see anything less than perfection as that failure, and so they give up. But by teaching that failure is normal, we can teach our gifted kids to pursue and to persevere in the face of failure. We can teach our kids emotional intelligence and resilience. So Timmy doesn't have a tantrum when his favorite shirt isn't found. So 6-year-olds don't cry in Target stores. So Timmy can finally pursue a normal life. And third and finally, peer-to-peer interaction. What Timmy was missing in his earliest formative years was that speck of childhood interaction that's so important for the mental development of our next generation. And if we teach our gifted children these 3 things, there is no doubt that they will not succeed. Because we have to remember that our children are just that, our children. They're not test-taking robots, and they're not perfect, and they were never meant to be. Because being gifted isn't something that you choose. It's not a mindset, but it's something that happens to 3.3 million kids. And for these kids, the least we can do is make education holistic. The least we can do is give them that gift, if nothing else, the very gift of being human. Just so kids like Timmy don't have to fail, so they can finally survive and thrive. Thank you.